Yeah, so Alpen, you've just come to the celebration day of the 30-day course. If you'd like to just share your honest experience of, um, if you want to share why you did the course, how it's helped you, what your experience has been, any feedback,
Hmm.
um, free for all in that manner of your thoughts.
Yeah.
You listen to those.
Well, the reason I joined the course was I was at a point in my life where things weren't going well, and I was having lots of negative thoughts, feelings, and feeling quite sad and depressed. And um, when you suggested it and talked about it so passionately and how it's benefited you, I was at a point when I thought, well, what's the worst that could happen is that I learn a new skill. Um, I saw the positive benefits that it could um, offer me, and I had nothing else to lose really. And it was really interesting. It was one of those things where I came in with a bit of all ready to immerse myself in it. And what I learned really was um, not to set an expectation that this is going to be a magic fix, but what you instilled was that these little changes that you make are all sort of marginal gains towards a greater good.
Mm.
What I learned was often I overlook the smaller things in life that count towards the bigger things. So I'd always find myself, I appreciate the big things, someone buying me, taking me out for a nice dinner or a birthday present or something like that. But actually, I learned to appreciate the smaller things like, um, you know, the, particularly the exercise we did with the fruit.
Mm.
Learned to appreciate all the tiny little things that happen during the day. And subconsciously, I found myself being grateful for all those things, even though I didn't write them down. I would be I'd feel gratitude, and I learned a routine, set myself a little routine, a goal. I'm a very goal orientated person, and having that routine of saying I've got 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night, and that was my time, was good to bookend the day. And in that, learning a bit more of how I work and to set a routine for myself. So initially, I started doing it as soon as I woke up. I realized that wasn't working, so I changed my routine, and it worked better. So I learned something about how I can adapt.
Mm.
Um, and I really enjoyed the sort of commitment that you put in as a coach, especially in that first week, which is usually, whilst it's easy to be motivated in the first week, so yep, I'm going to do that. Often by week two, week three, people tend to tail off,
Mm.
but there is a lot of motivation and the different challenges you set on Facebook, for example, where you're learning to think about different things to be grateful for. It started jogging my creative juices in writing in my diary. Um, and the sessions were very good as well. I think they were well run. I think you had good, you set out an agenda for the call, so it wasn't just a free for all. So it set a bit of structure and different exercises. And I think the way you set them out were targeting different stages when you're doing the course, particularly in week two, end of week two, I started feeling like I was stagnating in what I was writing. But you had the presentation and the tips to say, usually this is when people feel stagnated. So
Mm.
these are some tips. So you had that ready because you anticipated, you knew how difficult it was by way of experience in yourself doing the journal, but also running the course. Um, and I think it set me in a good sort of platform to now say, express gratitude daily. Use your 5 minutes, use your 10 minutes over the course of the day, and have that time, because I think positive changes I've seen, there's some tangible changes I've seen, and I anticipate that at some point I will, my practice will reduce as life gets ahead of you. But then having the book there is a reminder to keep going. And then the accountability aspect as well was excellent, because there was always a sort of, I wouldn't really say a school teacher and a school child, but it was that kind of, have you done the work? And, have you done the homework? And you're like, oh no, I'm doing, I've not done it. But it didn't really feel like you were failing at doing it. It felt more like it was a gentle reminder. Just remember, you've got this. Take your time, do your 5 minutes. And these are some tips that you can remember, the Facebook for as well. So I think that 30 days, I learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about the practice of gratitude, learned a lot about what the biggest thing I've learned was learning to appreciate the smaller things.
Excellent. No, thank you for that comprehensive feedback. Have you observed any impact of or changes in your day-to-day work as a doctor, through the last 30 days?
That one's a bit harder to quantify in terms of the actual, because I haven't, by nature of the work, I haven't had time to think about it in work. But outside of work, or when I go home, there are some changes I've noticed, that I'm a bit more patient, or I will acknowledge that I was patient in certain scenarios, and it's helped me reflect a lot more on my day, especially when it comes to difficult days. Actually, I would even say, more importantly, the good days, so I've come to reflect on them, because you tend to reflect on the difficult days and you don't appreciate some of the good days. So that 5 minutes at the end of the day, during a particular difficult day, that's an easy day, I can then reflect and say, oh, that went really well, and try and bring that same energy, same positive feeling to my next day. So overall, yeah, there's some changes.
Brilliant. No, thank you. And yeah, thank you for taking the time to share your experience, and appreciate you being on the course and being part of the Happy Life Habits alumni now of the course and the community. So look forward to seeing you and working with you in future sessions and events.
Thank you.